So now, what about the Mid-Island area? You know, I remember John Pagini talking about how it was going to be a village, and
it's evolving that way.
It's what about this property here? Is that ever going to get developed?
There's a couple of different options that we had put in the plan, but really nothing to date. I mean,
nothing to date.
It's
Who
just
owns
ideas.
That? Is it town?
Craig family.
Oh, okay.
And we always refer to it as the Craig property, and it was an idea for a public safety facility, an idea for a cultural arts facility.
Oh yeah, sure.
Parking lot. And I think they ran a gamut of much of different recommendations, or just I think the idea was felt that if it was a big retail, big box development like a Walmart or something, that definitely wasn't something that they felt it was a good idea.
Would fit in there?
That's a big parcel. Yeah,
it is.
You can put a lot of use in it. It's just how you're going to configure it. I think the idea was to have the buildings address the street, and then have the parking behind. So it used to have more of a Main Street atmosphere. Whatever happens there would have to have that kind of design treatment.
Yeah.
But you know, it's happening piecemeal. The recommendations along Pleasant Street, like the Dan's Pharmacy, I guess, has a plan now before the planning board that brings in a lot of the ideas that were envisioned in the Mid-Island area planning process.
Right.
So it's great. It's happening piecemeal and over time, and once you adopt a plan like that, you know, or approve it, it never happens the next day.
No, that's
true. It's a plan to guide you for the next 10, 20, 50 years.
And there has to be business to support it, obviously.
Exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
So where we're going, I think a lot of people are like they're not sure.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, how busy is the island ever going to be in the future? Is it ever going to come back to the way it was?
Oh, you like to think that it would, at least economically. You got to be positive like that.
Now, speaking of being positive, what are we going to do with this place?
We're recommending a 100-foot diameter roundabout, very similar to what's back there at Sparks Avenue. That's what we've suggested. A four-way intersection just would be way too much of an investment and impact the property owners, like the hospital.
Yeah.
Just way too
much.
much.
How could you get around doing that? Would any of these houses have to be taken out?
This house would have to be either removed or set back or relocated.
Yep.
And I believe that's the only building that would be affected. There's another one across the...
What about this? How did this get away with...
That needs to be taken care of.
Is that going?
I think it needs approval to go away, but it's something that I think we all support that it needs to go away.
You mean like move it out of here?
Move it out of here.
Yeah.
Reset it, move it back, or just put it someplace else. I mean, the hospital...
What about how do people feel about that happening? They may not like that.
I think there's an opinion with the Historic District Commission. I think they're the ones that ultimately approve the removal of buildings.
Oh, okay.
So I let them answer that.
That's privately owned by somebody, so I mean, I'm sure.
Well, the hospital owns it.
Oh, okay.
I think they're the ones that have envisioned a
and
different use of the property.
They own the other piece too.
Yeah, they pretty much own. This is a big campus for them.
Got it. Okay. I did not know that.
I think they slated that for housing improvements for their staff. So.
When do you think that might happen?
We'd like to have it happen within the next 2 or 3 years. There's a lot that needs to happen, and a lot of chain of approvals and mostly it's land.
Now, would this would have to change, right? They have to change the.
No, Vesper Lane would pretty much be left alone. I think
you would use left, and you'd have to go into the left and then go into a rotary again.
Yeah, you come out and out of Vesper Lane and enter the roundabout and start.
See.
But part of the roundabout would be passing the tree. The tree wouldn't be affected, but after we pass the tree, a slip lane, a right-hand turn lane from Surfside Road feeding onto Sparks Avenue would be part of the deal.
Sure.
To help relieve congestion.
You'd be going right over like this.
Yeah, right through there amidst those phone utilities right there.
Right.
Just kind of. The congestion improvements are part of it, and we feel that there's a certain degree of safety improvement as well. But I think what is really important to kind of take advantage of is the sense of place that creates. It's a gateway opportunity that you can create. Different intersections in other places, and even here on the island, you got where the monument is with Gardner and Main Street. The monument's in the middle of the street. You got an opportunity to memorialize something. I don't know what that could be. Whether you have somebody you want to memorialize, or you want to create something or communicate some kind of information for the schools, the hospital. But having that intersection in such good proximity to the school and the hospital, I think would be real nice to kind of communicate something there with art, some kind of civic art piece to bring it home, bring that idea home that you got a school right there and a hospital right there.
Right.
I don't know if it's a patron saint of hospitals and schools that can be a name that can be given to. I don't know. There's people that are better at coming up with ideas like that.
I see. Yep.
But
yep.
I would really like that to be part of the process, whether it's a roundabout or a four-way intersection. But just make that a civic area that we can memorialize or create some kind of monument. We have a lot of good monuments on the
That's
island,
true.
and that should be another area where we should take advantage of that opportunity.
Okay, so here's the bike path. Was this your idea?
This was one of the projects that we inherited when I took the job. This was already in some degree of the design phase, and there was a lot of right-of-way impacts, which is why this kind of ends where it does. But
Yeah.
we get the idea of just having a wide area that can accommodate bicyclists. Back where the up further where the houses are, have a sidewalk there, and then route bicycles almost right here to the left to this property here.
Oh, really? You really go around?
Go right through there, and
Wow.
there's an array of alignment options that can be taken advantage of. But
Okay.
using a Chicken Hill or some of the other private
So they
ways.
go all behind here. This would all
The bike route would. It's
bike
really a lot better to have the bicyclists go back behind there.
Absolutely.
There's just no area here
No,
for
that's fine. That's a great idea.
you can have the bike share the
It's
road.
kind of
here,
an
but-
adventure going behind there. You don't have to be on the road.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
Well,
just
what's
gotta
going to
evaluate
happen
all
to
of them.
this, Mike? What are we?
This
where
property?
Are we? Yeah. Where are? I mean,
I think it's being cleaned up. I think it's being cleaned up right now to kind of reshape the land back to where it was, and it'll be loamed and seeded. And by the springtime, you probably wouldn't be able to notice anything happen.
So they're not going to do the bike path here? Wasn't that what they were doing?
Yes.
And so it's been canceled?
Yeah, this was an option for either a sidewalk or a bike path. So yeah. There's a lot of permitting issues for something like this, and when we had the archaeologists look through this area, and they started to find some of these grave shafts and other things that it just felt it was better just to drop the idea. But we had to go through the process of confirming that there actually was something there. I've had a few people point at the fact that the fence line was where the cemetery began and ended, but we found that the fence line was really wasn't any type of indicator of where the limits of that were, that the grave shafts were actually up to the street. So even fitting a sidewalk between the fence line and the curb really wasn't a possibility once we'd gone through the exercise of confirming the archaeologists went through the exercise of confirming the locations.